everybody. This is your favorite host, Blair. But today we're not doing a normal episode of Couch Time, even though I barely upload anyway. Sorry about that. I'll get better on that. Um, Today I just want to just talk, just kind of go even more unscripted than I already do. Um, so most of us have already heard about the recent passing away of Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park. Um, if you haven't heard, he committed suicide a couple days ago, and it's including myself has been pretty heavy on a lot of people. Um, he was very inspirational. His music touched a lot of people. It was just so many different ways that people heard about Linkin Park, from AMVs, like how I heard about them, or just Transformers. It's just, I don't know. Their music is just very inspirational to me and so many other people. And his his death really affected a lot of people in that way, that who grew up listening to their music and got them through tough situations, through stress, through whatever they had going on. People like me, people like you, people like whoever else was touched, like we all were. But that leads me to what I want to talk about in this video today. Asking for help. A lot of people, when they're going through something, don't really want to ask for help or really speak on what they're feeling, because either they have before and nobody would listen, or whatever reason. And that sucks. Honestly, I feel like that's bullshit. I think everybody should be able to talk about their issues, mental issues, whatever's going on with them. And I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna talk about myself for a little bit and give you my experience on what I've been through, my journey, and maybe some of you relate to this in some ways, or you know somebody that's maybe going through or went through similar things, and whatever. Maybe whatever I say can help somebody. Um, I Growing up, I was always had anxiety, or I thought about things too much, or overthought things, and to the point where it would be crippling or would impact me doing day-to-day things in my life. And I noticed that ever since high school. I was always kind of I don't want to say a loner, but not extroverted. I had friends, but being around my friends, I didn't really say much. I was just the quiet one in the group, and that was just me throughout high school. And there would just be times where, I'm sure this happens with everybody, but I just hold so many things in that I know I should be talking about, and not ever say it out loud until it's way too late, and I do something that isn't smart or stupid or just hurtful to myself or other people. And when I started going to college my first year, that's when I started to get more concerned about whatever I was feeling, because I didn't know what it was. I knew there was something wrong. I just didn't know what it was. And I just decided to deal with it, not really want to talk about it that much, or talking to a therapist was the last thing on my mind at that point. Um, but college does take a toll on people, and in different ways. And for me, I just happen to be the kind of student that um, didn't focus on what I needed to be focusing on. I had schoolwork that I should have been doing, but I was focusing on other things like um, relationships or whatever. And that put a damper on my college experience. I started slipping up in classes or not hanging out with other friends because doing I'm hanging out with friends instead of doing my homework, or I'm doing something music related instead of hanging out with my friends or doing homework, or just something that I wasn't supposed to be doing just to take my mind off of what I should be doing, if that makes sense. I don't know. But after my second year started, or actually second semester, then I started going to see a therapist at on campus, and because I was getting more and more stressed out, I just couldn't. I don't know. I started having panic attacks. I was seeing stuff everywhere I went. I felt suicidal. I was just depressed. I didn't really have motivation, or I was just angry all the time, and I didn't want to feel that way. And I decided to start seeing a therapist or a counselor on campus, and that led to me being prescribed medication because I was diagnosed with depression and OCD. If you don't know what either of those two things are, basically, anxiety is, to put it in layman's terms, just over analyzing or overthinking something that you have absolutely no control or something that you already know the outcome of, but you're thinking of other ways that it could have went, if that makes sense. And OCD is like it's like kind of the same way, but in a physical form. Let's say a good metaphor is OCD is you habitually performing a habit and you feeling that you need to perform that habit when a certain something happens. So let's say you get bit by a mosquito and you wanting it itching is that feeling of OCD you have where you have to do it, where you have to do something about this bite or it'll just bother you, like it'll just keep bothering you. So that's what I was dealing with at the time. I was on medication, and it didn't really help me. I feel it calmed me down, I guess, but I really started struggling in classes a lot more, and I didn't even want to get out of bed most days. It just didn't feel like it was helping. And on one occasion, I I was actually on my way to the I think it was a Walgreens or a Publix, like probably about 2 or 3 miles down the road from campus, and I didn't have a car at the time, so I was gonna skate there. On my way, there, my skateboard goes down a sewer. So, so of course I just said fuck it, didn't get anything, just went back to my dorm because it's hot. It's summer. I went to school in South Georgia, so it's just hot all the time. Which led me to having withdrawals, and which led to my counselor sending me to a mental hospital. And this has actually happened twice, and both times it happened, it's it's not something that not something that you really want to be doing, especially when you're in school and you have assignments and tests and stuff you need to be studying for. It just takes time out of, you miss a lot, and I missed a lot, and it kind of really fucked up school for me. Um, so fast forward a little bit. I kind of flunked out of school because of all these different things going on and not knowing how to deal with all these different emotions. And eventually I did start feeling a little better, but by that time I was already leaving school, or I was on probation basically because I had failed so much. And when I went back home after leaving school, I decided that I didn't want to take the medication anymore. I didn't feel like it was helping me. I didn't think it was something that I needed to be doing because it was hurting me more than not being on it, if that makes any sense. And I'm not saying that just because you're on medication doesn't mean just because you're on medication, I'm not saying it means you shouldn't be taking it. I'm saying, me personally, it didn't help me the way that it might help somebody else because of the lifestyle that I'm trying to live. I'm an artist. When I was taking antidepressants, it got really hard to draw and be creative and even have motivation to get out of bed. And that's what made it hard for me. That's what made it difficult for me to even want to be on the medication. Aside from the excess weight gain that I got, I think I gained like 10-15 pounds while I was on medication. But when I got back home, I decided that I didn't want to do the medication anymore. I didn't go to a therapist or a female counselor. I just decided to stop doing it, which I highly don't recommend doing. You should see a doctor or your professional before you stop taking your medication, because I definitely went through some withdrawals along the way for a couple weeks or so. Probably not a couple, like a month or two. And honestly, I made that decision just because I felt that it was best for me. And I guess I'm rambling at this point. I'm not really sure where the story's going. But when I decided to stop taking it, I thought about more ways and all the things that I learned in counseling and therapy and in the hospital. All the ways that you can channel your emotions, your anger, your sadness, the ways that you can keep yourself from stressing out. Things that are your stress ball. Like, for me, I love listening to music or drawing, and that helps me get over stressful situations. And sometimes today I still struggle with those same feelings. Like, sometimes I don't think there's a point to waking up the next day, but it's not something that controls me anymore. I'm sure everybody has those thoughts, but when you're able to be strong enough to not let it control you, that's a really big step. And I feel like I'm at that point where I can say that, I'm not controlled by the thought of wanting to commit suicide or whatever. And even for people who are, that's why I say, don't be afraid to ask for help. There's hotlines, there's people who are close to you. Even if you can't talk to your family or friends, there are people who want to talk to you or will help you. And that's what everybody needs to understand. That's what, if I haven't made any points in this whole video, I want this to be the only thing that you guys remember. Is if you need help, don't be afraid to ask. I'll leave a number for hotline. I'll leave hotline numbers up. And feel free to post anything in the comments regarding your story or questions, whatever you want to talk about. I realize I've just been rambling this whole time, and yeah, but don't worry, the next episode of Couch Town will be back to normal. Going back to the games and hijinks and whatnot. I just wanted to take this time to kind of make this video, especially with all's been going on lately. So, yep, that's all I got to say. So, see you guys later.